Nice to meet you too. No.
I'm more used to use the Zoom, so I didn't know this application. That's why. Okay. Just I have some questions for you. I got all the papers you sent me. So the questions will be more because, for example, you sent me about the apparatus, the technology you did in Italy, and I found you already on a ResearchGate. I saw that you did some research, pilot research for the photobiomodulation for the Hamlet.
Yes.
I know it as well, and I have some questions. Okay, let's start first. Just one question: can I record you for the other parents, and I can share? Okay.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. First, I have to ask. And my second question will be first about your technology, because I saw that the technology, these two cones as you have, it's fTMS. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So I saw quickly all the papers you sent me, and I didn't saw exactly this technology on the paper. So my question is, what's the difference between this technology and rTMS technology? Because I know there is some rTMS technology. For example, in the center my child go in Nice, Rosati, they have rTMS technology. But I never tried yet for my child, so for me it's something new, rTMS, contrary to photobiomodulation, which I'm using, or for pons I'm using, or I know some spinal stimulation because I was talking with doctors. So my question is, what is the difference between fTMS and rTMS technology?
Okay, so it's the magnetism. So it's the type of magnetism that we are using. So in the classic magnetic stimulation, we have a pulsed or rotated magnetism that implicates impulses.
Yes, generally it's directly to the head, and you have only cones, so it's not on the head. It's nearby people. It's somewhere put it, not on the head.
Mine?
Yeah.
No, it's on the head.
It's on the head also?
Yes. But we are using a static magnetism. So what we are doing is we are modulating brain waves, okay, in the right and the left hemisphere. So we are dealing in this kind of with this kind of magnetism, with the static one, we are trying to rebalance brain waves between the two hemispheres. So the fact is that you have the cone, the pyramid, okay, if we can call it pyramid if you want.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be attached to a power supply. It's all inside the body of the machine. You have some jacks attached to the body, and you have microcoils.
Yeah.
So in the rotated or in the pulsed magnetic stimulation, you have one big coil that is placed and put on it depending on what area you're going to stimulate. And the fact that it is pulsed allows us to go deep into the brain. So we are going in the subcortical areas. But with this device, with our device, we are only dealing with the cortex.
Okay.
With the supracortex. And according to the one that if you are a professional or you are a patient, so it depends on how well you know brain areas. I created this kind of headband.
Yes, I see.
And you place the coils inside the buttons that are inside the headband, and then you can decide, depending on the position,
what areas you want to work?
What areas you want to stimulate. So if you're going to stimulate
frontal areas, frontal
cortex, motor cortex, and also the parietal and temporal lobes, or the occipital one.
Okay.
Okay, so this headband is we produce it according to the fact that patients not always know the 10-20 system of the EEG.
Of course.
So it needs to be more easy to use. Since I use it here in Italy also for home care, so I give the device to patients that are doing themselves stimulation.
So it's possible to use directly at home, not only in the clinics? That's the question. Because I saw the list of your clinics on your site. I saw that you have a lot of in Italy, and not so much in Europe. I didn't found anybody in France yet.
No, I'm just opening my view on the European and international market. So we are now well consolidated into the Italian market. So I'm just.
And you, but you have license to you have European license, or you already passed FDA in United States? How it's happening for FDA?
I have European license.
European, okay. It's important because I have parents from United States a lot. Also in my.
So I don't have a FDA certificate. I have a
CE.
Medical,
European. Okay, great. So, in case, for example, if I'm interested, how much it costs this equipment?
It's 4,000.
4,000 equipment. Okay. For private or for clinic, it's the same price.
It's the same.
Okay, I see. No, my next question, it will be about any adverse reaction. Because it will be the first question the parents will ask. Adverse reaction, especially for the children who has epilepsy and has seizures and so on.
Exactly. So first of all, it's about seizures. So in epileptic children or adults, we have this nonsense about the neuromodulation where it is indicated and it's controversial to use. So the fact that we are inducing and we are modifying brain waves, so from an electrical input, then one of the main controversies that I have is using this device on epileptic patients. So I say no to epileptic patients. We don't have problems for the static magnetism in patients with pacemakers or cochlear implants.
Okay.
But I have to say that if we have a patient with cochlear implants, then we need to think about not putting the coils directly on the area. On that area, so we can stimulate different and other brain areas. Pregnant women and very young children. So the problem, sorry, I left my. So from the 10, 12 years old.
Generally, you are using from 10, 12 years old for children. So my next question, it will be, okay, about cellular activity I saw. And as I saw that a lot of rTMS and such technology, magnetism, was studied especially for Alzheimer and Parkinson for adults, for strokes patients. But I didn't find nothing about cerebral palsy children. There is no.
Nothing about.
Because there is none.
No, there is no. For pulse magnetism, so for rTMS, since it is more invasive, also if we are in a non-invasive procedure, but it's a bit more invasive than the static magnetism, it is very strict to have clinical applications. So they are, for now, having great results on important neurodegenerative diseases, since they are lowering the disease. But in children, we have many problems to have clinical protocols.
I know. It's much more difficult to put on the protocol. So my question will be, for example, if somebody want to try, it will be better way to go to the clinic and to see if it gives results. During how much time you have to stay to see if it can give results for child or not in the clinic? 1 week, 2 weeks? How much? And so how much session you need to do in order to see something as a result?
So I am a health professional, so I'm a neuropsychologist, and I prefer to have the first settings and treatments with the physicians or with the health professionals, since it is not always the right device to use. It depends on the symptoms, it depends on what symptoms we are going to alleviate, and what is the main goal of the patient also that he wants to achieve. For now, the protocols are about 10 sessions. That
2 weeks. 2 weeks, generally. I think 2 weeks. 10 sessions, it must be 2 weeks. And how long is one session for the child?
20 minutes.
20 minutes session.
It's always 20 minutes, and the fact is that this device is, I thought it in combination with rehabilitation. So if we are doing rehabilitation, motor rehabilitation, cognitive rehabilitation, we are placing the coils on the brain areas that are involved during the rehabilitation, and we are having a double stimulation, an environmental one and a cerebral one.
And it's interesting because it's exactly the protocol we have for the pons, but we are doing electrical stimulation of the lung. It's exactly 20 minutes, and also together with the rehabilitation. This is funny because we know that at any case the brain, they are starting to make new connections, and the neuroplasticity is coming to start after 20 minutes of modulation. So it's exactly the 20 minutes. That is funny.
And it's the 20 minutes, and thinking about the other neural window that opens up after the 20 minutes. So we are having 1 hour of complete rehabilitation with an open plasticity window. So absolutely.
Yeah, I see. So the best way is to come to the clinic and to try and to see, and the goals, it will be more cognitive functions for your technology, or it's also the motor functions.
You saw motor functions, since we have protocols for Parkinson's disease, and we are for now here in Italy dealing with coordination and motor rehabilitation, and having the coils placed on the primary motor cortex.
Okay.
So exactly on the center of the head, if you have the headband, or if you have the silicone cap, I think the headband is more easy to use. It's not that strict about around the head. Some patients are not very keen in having the cap.
The cap complete like Jay say, generally children, they don't like it, but they have to do it.
For sure, Parkinson's disease, and in this case we are dealing about coordination and internal, how do you say?
Balance. And the balance. It's the principal problem for my child, the balance and the coordination, because he has a
distance. So for balance, you can apply the headband on the primary motor cortex, or also at the
cerebral area. Yeah, cerebral area. Yes, as the children, they have generally cerebral area smaller than the normal children of their age. For example, if you already have the patients after training in the clinic who bought the equipment at home, how they trained the parents to use it at home after that? After, for example, after treatment in the clinic, they can buy the equipment, yes, and to make a training at home. Do they train for special protocol at home for the child in the clinic, or how it's happening?
They define the protocol with the health professionals.
Yeah.
So they are basically doing the same things that they were doing in the clinic at home.
At home.
Thinking about the fact that maybe the health professionals has many other devices and possibilities in its office, but all, so it's not digital. I don't have an app, I don't have a platform, I don't have anything. Since my first goal was always speaking with health professionals, and that they will supervise the use of this kind of device and magnetic use in their patients. So I'm not, perhaps it's too much, but I'm setting them free on letting them decide which protocol is the best for their patients, depending if it's in their office or if it's...
So then what clinic you prefer for example, to send children to work with the clinic? Because you have a long list of clinics on your website with whom you are working with. Maybe you know the clinic who more specialized in children's.
I have many psychologists and neuropsychologists that use this kind of device based on the fact that we are balancing right and left hemisphere in dyslexia and ADHD. So for now, this is my actual target here in Italy, and they are all cognitive rehabilitators.
Yeah, generally cognitive.
Generally cognitive.
Yeah.
I have a few polyclinics. So inside the polyclinics, you have many other professionals inside. So you have also the physiotherapist and the speech
therapist, and so on.
But if I think about children and the actual problems that we have also here in Italy for now, it's all about ADHD and dyslexia.
Yes, I see. But it's not exactly the people from my public. We are generally cerebral palsy group.
Okay.
And also the people also so they will be very interested also for the motor problem and where to go, for example, to give them exact address where they can just to call and to fix the appointment and to come even for 2 weeks to try to train and to see if it's cope with the child and so on. That's a problem. So. And as you have not much cases of cerebral palsy, it's more difficult to advise them to go somewhere. Maybe you have cases...
I can have a more defined research about seeing if we have anything about the use of static magnetism in cerebral palsy. I am, for now, not aware if there are some papers about it, but for sure, if there are, then we don't have any problems about the application.
Maybe you treated already children after stroke, or I don't think that you no, not yet, only adults. Yes, yes, it's not much strokes in children. I know cardiac arrest even less as my child. I know, and except so. That's a question. I saw that you have a clinic in Milan. For me, it's not so far. We can try, but it means that for the other people from cerebral palsy, the first question will be, okay, what we have like a studies for cerebral palsy, and we agree that for the cerebral palsy we have a spinal stim on the moment. For example, it's something they are waiting. Everybody is spinal stim. What it will be like a product, because a lot of children already participated in the clinical trials. And by the way, about spinal stim, I was talking directly to the Gerasimenko. If you know, it's Gerasimenko who started. It's one of the doctors I was talking about, as well as for Pons I'm talking with Danilov. And also, at any case, Pons was studied for cerebral palsy in Russia, only in Russia, not in the United States. So I know it's complicated to ask about cerebral palsy, but for sure I will be asked by parents about cerebral palsy, so I'm asking these questions.
I think it's also about a big problem in management of such patients.
Like cerebral palsy, of course.
Here in Italy, so they will not think about an home care device or rehabilitation. They are just left by themselves. It's so, let it be, and it's something that I'm really frustrated about. But
I know.
From the other point of view, it's very difficult to have a validation in Italy about
cerebral palsy. Yes, I agree. Absolutely agree with you. I have another question also about your photobiomodulation therapy, because about photobiomodulation, I saw that you posted the pilot study for the helmet. In fact, I use already photobiomodulation, but I use a Juve device, if you know Juve device, because it's when I called Dr. Hamblin, it was 4 years ago. He advised me a Juve device for my child. He said, okay, it's you can use without any problems, even while he's sleeping, and every part of the body. And so I'm using Juve device for now. But it's very difficult to tell exactly if it's only Juve device, because we are doing at the same time so much things.
I know. This is always the same problem.
It's the same problem.
It's the fact when I presented the study about photobiomodulation in Parkinson's disease at the Sorbonne, I was very angry about the fact that patients always do so many things, and they change also the pharmacological aspects, that you are not able to see if anything changes thanks to a device or if not.
Generally, when they participate in the study, they sign a paper that they don't have right to use anything else.
Sure, and it was the fact that I was very happy to see that both groups improved in their symptoms. So I'm not saying that the photobiomodulation is the only thing that matters inside this study. It's obviously also rehabilitation and classic rehabilitation. But when you're combining it and when you're doing it together, then you have much more improvements that are prolonged in time. So I have a follow-up, in 1 month follow-up, where the symptoms are as in the first stages of the clinical trial. So the improvements persist in a 1 month follow-up. I'm just trying to do a 3 month follow-up.
Yeah.
It's a bit more complicated, since in a 1 month follow-up they are still nearby. In a 3 month follow-up they are maybe changing everything, and they moved from in the country to another. But I'm just trying to recollect all the patients and see how things are going after 3 months of treatment. But I know when you are doing many things in combination, then it's
you see the progress, but it's very difficult to say which part of therapy responsible for which progress.
Sure.
Especially when you use a lot of equipment at once, like I do, for example, with Bones, and at the same time with Juve. So I have 2 equipment at the same time for my child. And I know he progressed enormously, but what was the part of each? Doesn't matter, like a parent.
Doesn't matter.
But for the scientific matters, it does. I know. So my last question will be about your equipment. For example, I understood if I want to try for my child, I have to come to the clinic. But if you will suppose one day to do a clinical trial, I will be happy to know about this for the cerebral palsy, because a lot of parents will be maybe interested.
Absolutely. We can also think about giving you for a free try of the device, so you have the device
at home, and then I show the how it works for my child. But first, in any case, I have to come. I have to come to see how it works device, and to see if it's okay for my child to use it. There are some cases when it's not accepted to use or something. No. Because I just try to imagine how we can make at the same time some kind of training during these poses on the helmet, on the bars, and then he has to move, and you have a pyramid, how you are moving with it.
Also, this is another big question.
So I know, for example, how I'm moving with the Pons. Pons is here, I have on the Tongyu, and I can make him move all over the room. I can make a balance exercises, I can make exercises with a treadmill, for example. What I have to do with your equipment, or I have to try to read with this, and then we work cognitive functions. For example, we have problems with reading or writing. We can make this way, it's more easy because he's sitting. But if I want to move, how I can put it and where I can put it in order to move with it?
The cables are pretty long. And this is the maximal length that I can have in order to not have a dissipation of the signal. The physiotherapists that use the device, they place it in a jetpack.
Jetpack, okay.
Since you see it's very small, it stays in a hand, you don't have to have the cone. This cone is the activation and deactivation cone. So when I take the cone off, the magnetism is produced inside the body machine, and if I place it over, then it stops the magnetism inside the device. So you can take the cone off, place the device inside the jetpack, and then having also the cables that come from your gut, so they are not interfering in the front with the reading. Or we can think about the protocols only about cognitive functions, and then we can work on the frontal, prefrontal areas.
Reading, attention, reading, writing.
And see if since you are already doing something motor, for the motor improvements, then perhaps we can think about the cognitive aspects.
I see, I understand. So yes, I will be maybe interested in such case. I will see with you. Can you send me also your license, European license? So when I post it, for example, for my, because I have also the Facebook of my association as well as our internet site, I will put all this on, and then the people can read the paper you want that I add to the technology, and they can also see the video and to see the license, European license of technology, because the parents, they will be asking. And I have some parents from Italy. It will be fun, but I have autistic children because I help to make 2 clinical trials, one for autistic and one for cerebral palsy, but it was with the stem cells. It was another question. So, but I want to put all together